A few days ago, it was my second to last night in my 2 month trip in Bali, and I decided to play the piano for one last time. So I go to the place where I usually play, and at first I'm just practicing and improvising. Then I move into the piece I've been practicing so much over the past few years. I start playing, and I'm not doing as well as I usually do. I hadn't played in about 2 weeks, so I knew I'd be a little bit rusty, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. Every now and then I would freeze up on the keys and I would make a mistake and I'd try to correct it really quickly, but it just wasn't sounding right to me. I get through the whole piece, and once I'm at the end, I close it off, and then people that are in the room start clapping. Like, really clapping. Like they thought it was good. I remember as I'm packing up my bags and my camera, a girl walks by and she says, "That was amazing." But deep down inside, I didn't feel like it was amazing. I got all of this validation from people around me, and yet I knew that I could do better. And so their validation didn't even mean that much to me, because they're looking at it from what they're capable of doing, and I'm looking at it from what I know I'm capable of doing. And those don't match up. Now, if I went out there and I gave it my all, and I didn't actually mess up the way that I did, I would have felt a lot better. But even after people were clapping for me, I realized my validation is the only one that matters. What about you? Are you doing the best that you can right now? A lot of times we don't feel as good as we can because we're not doing as much as we can. And this creates an uncomfortable feeling. And you've probably felt this before, where you know that you could be doing better, and yet here you are, living up to a quarter of your potential. You're giving 25% when you have 100. Alex Hormozi, this well-known businessman on YouTube, says that he had this presentation that he was preparing for, and 500,000 people were going to be watching. So he practiced it over 100 times. Can you imagine the level of intensity that takes? He would start in the morning, and then he would go through the entire presentation, and then he would film himself and rewatch the clip, make changes in real time, and do it again. How much effort are you putting in? He said that the reason he put so much effort in is because he knows that only his validation matters to him. At the end of the day, you have to face yourself and look in the mirror and see, did I do the best that I could have today? And every time you can't check that box, you feel a little bit worse about yourself. This is so true for me as much as it is for you, because I wasn't living up to my potential when I was in Bali for the past 2 months, and I knew it. There were times where I was doing everything that I could, but after a little while I just saw that I was getting so distracted. There's this thing to do and this thing to do, and oh, you have to go see this, bro. And so I would go see it, and I'd feel no motivation to come and record a video. And usually I don't need the motivation to record it. I do it because I love it. But my inputs weren't where I wanted them to be. And if you're the same way right now, and you're living a distracted life, a hedonistic lifestyle where you just do what feels good to you, you have to ask yourself, what do you really want from life? Because a lot of times they give us these small pleasures, these little carrots that they're dangling in front of us, but they don't fulfill the actual desire, do they? The best example of this is something like porn, right? So we have a society and a culture that's highly sexualized, but most men and women aren't actually dating and having those sexual relationships. And so you just get this weird fulfillment that isn't really what you wanted, but it's a version of what you wanted. And so it's almost good enough, but it's not quite. But we all know what good enough is. We all know what actual effort is. And it takes effort to achieve anything in life. It takes consistency and time. So, what do you want from life? And are you actually going all in on your desire? The reason I came back home is because I wanted to lock in. There's nothing for me to see here. There's nowhere for me to go and to be distracted by this. It's beautiful, but it's not a distraction from my purpose. The thing about this is, self-esteem is the result of doing the best that you can. And that's how you develop high self-esteem and respect for yourself, is actually going out there and giving it your all. And every time you don't actually do the best that you can, you're hurting yourself. Because we all know that we can do better. So why don't we? I think it comes down to not having one big goal and one big vision. Because after you have that goal and that vision, everything aligns with it. I remember when I started going to the gym, I knew I wanted to have a 10 out of 10 physique. And so I remember there would be times when people would be having cakes and ice cream. I would just look at it like, ew, I'm not eating that. I know what my goal is. I know where I want to get to. And this is not part of that plan. So do you have a goal that's big enough that everything else moves out of the way and parts like the Red Sea? Because if you don't have that goal, what is the point? If you're not aiming towards anything, where are you going? You can't hit a target that you can't see. My wish for you is that you start to have that one big goal that makes everything else clear. I have side projects and side tangents. For example, my biggest goal right now is to hit $10,000 a month online. But I have another side project. I'm getting jacked. And this is just something I do because it helps my mental health. It helps my physical health. It makes me feel good about myself. And it's difficult. So every day when I'm in the gym and I'm pushing myself as hard as I can, I know that I'm building myself into the person that I want to become. And if you're not doing this in multiple areas of your life, you will feel bad. You will feel pain. Pain is the result of not doing what we're supposed to do. It's all it comes down to. When I was in Bali, it became so clear to me, this idea of karma, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And I was getting injured when I was in Bali. I was scraping my legs, knees, all of these things. And I would ask myself, what did I do to deserve this? A lot of people think we live in an accidental universe, but it's a lot more intentional than it is accidental. Every action has a reaction. So if something is happening in your life, you need to ask, why is it happening to me? Take some responsibility. It all comes down to you. So don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Peace.